Layla Rahman had perfected the art of pretending. Pretending she didn't care when girls at college screamed over Jacob Reyes. Pretending she didn't know the words to every single song his band had ever released. Pretending she hadn't fallen in love with him long before anyone else knew his name. And most of all, pretending she wasn't his girlfriend. Let's start at the beginning, before the fame. Layla met Jacob long before he was Jacob from Vortex. Back then, he was just the awkward boy in her year. 10 music class who always tapped rhythms on the desk and apologized too much. He had messy curls that refused to behave and the softest brown eyes she'd ever seen. The first time he spoke to her, it was to ask for a pen. The second time, it was to ask if she wanted to hear something he'd written. They sat behind the auditorium after school, the air smelling like rain and cut grass, while he played a rough melody on his old guitar. His voice cracked halfway through. He stopped, embarrassed. That was terrible. It wasn't, Layla said quietly. It sounded like something that could be real. He looked at her differently after that, like she'd seen him, and she had. Vortex happened fast. One audition video, one talent scout, one viral clip. Suddenly, Jacob wasn't just hers to sit beside on cracked concrete steps. He was on stage under neon lights, surrounded by screaming fans and flashing cameras. The band, 5 boys with perfect hair and synchronized smiles, were everywhere. Posters, interviews, billboards. Girls in Layla's college decorated their lockers with his face. Jacob Reyes is actually unreal, her friend Mia would sigh. If he looked at me once, I'd pass out. Layla would laugh. Because Jacob looked at her all the time. Just not where anyone could see. The secret. The secret wasn't romantic at first. It was terrifying. The band's management had rules. No dating, no scandals. Maintain the fantasy. You understand, right? Jacob had told her, pacing her bedroom the night before their first major tour. If people think I'm taken, it changes everything. Layla sat cross-legged on the floor, trying not to let her chest ache. I know. I don't want to lose you. You won't, she said. But what she meant was, I'm already losing you. They agreed to keep it quiet, private, invisible. Their relationship existed in stolen moments. Hoodies borrowed and never returned. 2 a.m. FaceTime calls from hotel rooms. Voice notes saved and replayed when he was on stage somewhere across the world. His hand brushing hers in dark cinemas where no one recognized him. Publicly, he belonged to everyone. Privately, he belonged to her. The first rumor happened 6 months into the tour. Jacob was photographed laughing with a model outside a restaurant in LA. Are they dating? Screamed every headline. Layla saw the pictures in the college cafeteria. The comments were worse. She's so lucky. They'd have the most beautiful babies. She better not hurt him. Layla couldn't breathe. Her phone buzzed immediately. Jacob. It's not real, I swear. It was a brand dinner. I didn't even know she'd be there. Layla stared at the screen. She believed him. But belief didn't stop the hurt. That night, she didn't answer his call. Not because she was angry. Because she didn't trust her voice not to break. Fame changes the shape of time. Weeks passed like hours for Jacob. Interviews, rehearsals, flights. For Layla, they stretched endlessly. She would sit in her room scrolling through clips of him on stage. Thousands of girls screaming his name like a prayer. He smiled so brightly under the lights. But she noticed something others didn't. Sometimes, when the camera caught him off guard, there was a flicker of exhaustion in his eyes. One night, he called her at 3:17 a.m. Talk to me, he whispered. I have class in 5 hours. Please. She softened immediately. What's wrong? There was silence, then, I don't know who I am when I'm not performing. Layla lay back on her pillow. You're the boy who can't cook pasta without burning it. A small laugh. You're the boy who cries at dog videos. Don't expose me. You're still you. And she meant it. Even if the world tried to swallow him whole. Everything changed the night Layla attended her first Vortex concert. She wore a cap and stood at the back, heart hammering. The arena pulsed with light and sound. Thousands of fans screamed as the boys appeared on stage. And there he was. Jacob. Confident, radiant, untouchable. But then something unexpected happened. Midway through a slower song, one he'd written years ago on concrete steps behind the auditorium, his eyes scanned the crowd. And they found her. Just for a second. His voice softened. He smiled differently. Not the practiced stage smile. The real one. the one that crinkled the corners of his eyes. And Layla realized something. He might belong to the world. But the world didn't know him. Not like she did. The secret started to hurt more than it protected. At college, Layla endured endless conversations about Jacob. "I'd literally die if he kissed me," one girl said dramatically. Layla forced a laugh. "You have no idea," she thought. Meanwhile, management pushed harder. No girlfriends. No public attachments. Keep the fantasy alive. One evening, Jacob showed up at her house unexpectedly. No security. No warning. Just him. "I'm tired," he said. "Of what?" "Pretending." Her breath caught. "Jacob, I hate that you have to hide." "I chose this." "You shouldn't have to." They stood in the quiet of her hallway. Two worlds colliding. "If I tell them," he continued, "it could ruin everything." Layla looked at him carefully. "Or," she said softly, "it could prove you're human." The band was about to release their biggest album yet. Pressure mounted. Rumors grew. And then, a leak. A blurry photo surfaced online. Jacob leaving Layla's house. The internet exploded. Who is she? Is she his girlfriend? How long has this been happening? Layla's phone wouldn't stop vibrating. She felt sick. Jacob called. "They want me to deny it." And silence. "They're saying it'll protect the band." Layla closed her eyes. She knew what protecting the band meant. Denying her. "I don't want to lose you," he whispered. "You won't," she said again. But this time she wasn't sure. 2 nights later, Vortex had a live-streamed performance watched by millions. Layla sat on her bed, hands shaking. Halfway through the show, Jacob stepped forward alone. "This next song," he said into the microphone, "is for someone who's been with me before any of this." The crowd screamed. Management panicked backstage. Jacob continued anyway. "She taught me that being real matters more than being perfect." Layla's heart stopped. "I spent a long time pretending I wasn't allowed to love openly," he said. "But I'm done pretending." The arena fell into stunned silence. "I have a girlfriend, and she's the best thing that ever happened to me." Chaos. Absolute chaos. But Layla? She felt something else. Relief. The backlash came. Some fans were angry. Some felt betrayed. Some supported him fiercely. Management was furious. But something unexpected happened too. Album sales didn't drop. If anything, they rose. Because authenticity resonates. Jacob came to Layla the morning after the announcement. "Are you okay?" he asked nervously. She studied him. No stage lights. No cameras. Just the boy from music class. "Yeah," she said. "You sure?" She smiled. "For the first time, I don't feel invisible." He exhaled in relief. "Neither do I." It wasn't perfect after that. Fame never is. Layla dealt with online scrutiny. Paparazzi learned her roots. There were days she wanted to disappear. There were nights Jacob questioned whether he'd done the right thing. But through it all, they chose each other. Not because it was easy, because it was honest. And sometimes honesty is louder than screaming arenas. 5 years later, Vortex was still huge. But the frenzy had softened. Jacob still performed to sold-out crowds. But now, when interviews asked about love, he didn't dodge the question. He smiled. Layla often stood side stage, no longer hidden. Fans still adored him. But they also respected him. Because the fantasy had grown up. One night after a show, as the crowd filtered out and the lights dimmed, Jacob wrapped his arms around her. "Remember when we thought this would ruin everything?" Layla laughed. "It kind of did." "Yeah, but it built something better." He kissed her forehead. "You were worth the risk." She looked out at the empty arena. Thousands of seats. Thousands of stories. But only one that was theirs. And that was enough.